So in this video, we're going to go over two things: the debugging tool available in Dear PyGui and the ID system. So with the ID system, basically what that is say you need two widgets. Actually, we're going to start off with one. When you go to create this, you're going to see your widget added here. Notice that float1 is the same thing as the first argument, but the first argument for most widgets is the ID. There's also an optional argument, label, which defaults to the ID, which is what's happening here. To be explicit about this, you could write this: label equals float1, and you get the same result. Now you may say, why would you want to do that? Well, what if you were to have two floats, or two of these input floats, and you want them to say, let me comment this out, you want the label to be the same? Well, in that case, you can't do that because you're using the label and the ID together, and widgets need a unique ID. So to do that, you could do something like this, where you could say, input float 1, input float 2, and now they have unique IDs and the same label. So that's one way of doing it. The other way of doing this is, and this is the recommended way, keep that in mind. This other way is passed through to Dear GUI. This is the way that they do it, that and popping IDs, but this is the way it's the other way to do it, is you could do this. When you put the hashtag or pounds, whatever you want to call them afterwards, this gets ignored for the label. This is all that gets displayed, but this whole thing is still the ID and thus unique. So you get the same result. Now, like I said, I would recommend using the label system. That's the official way. Now, the second half of this is to show the debug tool. So if you use the command show debug, you get this. Now, the reason I'm showing you this in this video is, one of the reasons you need this unique ID is to be able to retrieve values if the widget has an underlying value type. And in this case, these do. So rather than have to write a callback and all that to test it, we're going to use this tool. Now, some of the different things you can see here, we'll come into, this later as we talk about the way the value system actually works. Input polling, and it shows a lot. It also shows your actual application, and you can see pretty much all the same information, with the actual ID and the label, which I don't think this will show the label, but you can see the label there. But the real reason we're showing this is the commands. Here you can see every command in here, including get value, and you can search them and you can execute them at runtime. So to start off with, I'm going to go ahead and show the logger. There we go. And I am going to next show you how to get the value of an underlying, or get the underlying value of one of these widgets. So we'll do get value float1, and what did we name that again? Float1 ##1. And we need to print that or log it. In this case, I'm just gonna log it as debug. And you can see the value there. Now you could do that for the other one as well. And there you go. Anyhow, so this is a pretty useful tool for testing things at runtime that you're going to see me using a lot. So anyway, until next time, I will see you guys later.